Hello everyone, welcome to Tactica, Imperialis, and to today's video. Today's episode 52 of Adeptus Podcastus, and I got the intro right this time. Suck it, comments.
About time.
Shut up. Joining me as always is Remleiz from 40K Theories.
Hello everyone.
And our special guest for this episode of the podcast is none other than Kirioth.
Good evening, or morning, or whatever time you're watching this, where you are.
It'd be 7 o'clock in the morning UK time by the time this goes live, so we'll go with morning instead. Morning, fine.
That works for me.
So yeah, how's everybody?
Yeah, not too bad. Spent most of this day trying to get this one bloody video sorted. Otherwise, good.
I mean, I've spent the day getting my university report that defines my progress for the year sent off, so I've not had a hobby day at all, but hey, gotta do these things.
I managed to... I split it evenly between finishing the second Emperor's Children Obliterator and filling out a tax return, because I know how to enjoy my life.
Sweet. Still, it was a good thing to wake up to this morning. We're recording this a day earlier than usual on the 30th of August, and boy am I glad that Games Workshop were quick with their studio preview, because Nova happened recording.
Oh, yes, it did.
Do we want to start with Nova, or do we want to go back to WarhammerFest Europe, because we didn't get to talk about that last time?
I'm good for either. There's so much stuff. The amount of stuff is unbelievable.
Yeah. I'll flip. Screw it. We'll just go with topics and then just jump around as we see fit. I don't care anymore. Right. The one I care about most, because I got dibs on this one, orcs. Orcs. Yes, orcs.
So we're going to be talking about speed freaks, are we?
Yes, wacky race.
How long has that joke been sitting in the back of the head?
I mean, I coined wacky races with orcs when I saw the preview of Speed. Someone else, I think, said wacky races, but I'm sure GW's been sat on that one for years.
Yeah, pretty much. The thing that got me, and the thing that I've loved about the orc thing, was when I very sarcastically said that if they called it Orctober, I was done with the hobby, and then the next day they did the proper reveal of Speed Freaks, and they were like, Orctober. I was like, okay, fine.
I still prefer January, but that's because I'm old. But hey, can't have it all.
You call yourself old, and what edition did you get into the hobby?
5th.
Quite.
Shut up. So, Speed Freaks, in their own words, is a high-octane... More octane, yes. A high-octane racing game set in the desert expanses of Vigilus, the same world as Tooth and Claw and Kill Team took place on, fitting bikes and unpredictable death races, containing the custom booster blaster, which is not the war buggy, it's the custom booster blaster, as well as the shock jump dragster, which is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I'm pretty sure whoever came up with the idea for that vehicle needs to have some sort of award of some kind.
Yeah.
Like a drag racer that boosts into people and flings them into like a meat grinder on top it's easily the best idea that anyone ever had.
A shock attack powered vehicle that also teleports and had it. Oh, it's so clever. It's so clever.
It's orky.
It is orky. I mean, it's not exactly Mad Maxy though, because a lot of the things with the orcs is kind of like they've got this Mad Max sort of vibe about them, and yet they're a bit more than that, which is nice. It's not just, this is like Mad Max, but with orcs.
Yeah, I kind of had that with the what was the last one they released that revealed that it wasn't the booster blaster, it was the other one. It was the I can't remember the name of it now.
Whatever it is.
No, they've had the three. They've had the booster blaster, the shock jump dragster, and there was another one that I can't remember the name of, because I've been reading the names of these things repeatedly over the last week. There's one just escapes me every time.
And it's the third one they revealed. I mean, they've released, they've previewed an Orc War Boss on a Death Killer War Trike in the same release.
I believe it was from the opening that they showed off a third vehicle that wasn't the War Trike. In fact, I could just find the article and have a look at it. That'd be more sensible, wouldn't it? Yeah, there we go. The custom booster blaster. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Boomdacker Snazwagon is the other one.
Yeah. There's so the custom booster blaster is the one that's got like the full-on overt Mad Max reference.
Turret.
Like the grot stuck to the front with a metal mask over his face.
That's the Snazwagon. The booster blaster is the one with the big cannon.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. There's so many weird names, and it's in such a short space of time. And I'm so used to Orc vehicles being basically battle wagon and then
Buggy.
ancient war buggy, and that's it. It's just like all these things are just being thrown at us, and it's I really like that, and I love the fact there's no overt reference to Mad Max in it, but I also like the fact that for the other vehicles there are definite kind of inspirations there, but it's not just like, hey, pop culture. There's actually, they have their own identity as well.
Yeah.
And we've only had the one thing that is like, look, this is where we got this idea from. I kind of like the fact that they're still orky and
completely. That makes total sense. And also, I think it's the first time I've ever seen a Molotov cocktail on a model. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
I can't think of anything else that has that. I also really like the fact that they're in this like ridiculous kind of Mad Max-esque half muscle car, half dune buggy thing, and the guy on the turret with the massive weapon sticking out is still preparing to throw a Molotov. The guy cannot have enough weapons. You've got to chuck something as well. It's just, orc and it's brilliant.
It's perfect. The other thing that's been released along with the buggies is War Boss on Death Killer War Trike, which is not a bike, it's a vehicle, so I'm sad because it's not Wazdaka, but still, it's bloody cool.
It's so good. And the actual War Boss on that thing, the sculpt on that guy is so good. It looks so like... It just... the first time I saw it, I just kind of sat there and stared at it for a minute and went, that's what every orc should look like.
Power claw as well, because you can actually, unlike other power claws where it's over the hand, it's kind of like a power fist just wrapped around the hand. This one is actually just two big claws on the side of his hand. It's a unique power claw as well as everything else.
Yeah, it's so well done, and even the guy driving the thing, the fact that he's actually got like a proper like biker helmet and like a bandana and stuff. There's like little touches all over that model that just it just makes me happy. I haven't played orcs for years and years and years and years, but I'm starting to get I'm getting nostalgic for that I had in third, which is kind of impressive because I haven't felt like that for a long time when it comes to orcs.
It's interesting because my first army was Speed Freaks Orcs. When Wazdaka was still a thing back in the 4th edition Codex, I did 2 Wazdaka conversions, and one of them was a trike, of all things, believe it or not. So Speed Freaks Orcs is my home. It's my first army. It's where I came from in this hobby. It's what got me going, and I'm just like, I want this now.
Yeah. It's like I keep telling myself, it's like I cannot start another army until I finish my Emperor's Children. I can't do it. And then they keep flooding me with these vehicles, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to not buy this? It's not fair. Leave my wallet alone. I do not have time for a second army right now. And they're not stopping. They just keep doing it.
I mean, I've got 2 or 3 AOS armies I want to be working on. My Tau have not been touched in 8th edition because I was away when they're clearing. And now this. And then there's talk of more stuff for AOS coming up. We'll get to that later. And then there's going to be other stuff. It's just stop.
Yeah, it's too much. It's way too much, and it's that added thing as well of like, I think if it was any other army, the only thing that would probably sway me more would be if there was some kind of dedicated Iron Warriors thing, because that was my first ever army. Orcs were my second, so it's like it's making it so much more difficult. The fact that it's orcs, it's like it's not just orcs; it's the stuff that I wanted to see back when I played orcs, and it's been. Like, how many years since third? Like 15 or something horrendous?
Oh, it's more like 20. 4th edition was 2004.
Yeah, the 3rd edition was...
Oh, man.
98?
1998, yeah.
Oh, God,
20
I feel
years.
so old.
I've been around since 2nd edition, so that was 1993.
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh.
Aye. But there's more for the orcs, because we know the Orc Codex is next in the queue after the Space Wolves, which got broken and won't need to be fixed on day one. Whoops.
I still can't believe that.
Yeah, that was.
It's kind of, it is bad, but for me, I mean, I ended up making a whole video on that just because I was like, can we cut all this out with like the paper codexes now? If this is going to be an issue, can we just not do that? Can we not have codexes come out that are outdated before they're even released? Because
that one was an accident, and I would never advocate taking paper codices away, ever, because they're so useful and quick to read and easy to reference. And
I've always had an issue with kind of the nature of updating that kind of thing. It's like trying to update stuff that is primarily, paper based. It's just such a pain, and it's very dependent on the consumer to get around to doing it. And I think really, I don't want paper codexes to disappear because, if anything, I still value of it.
Oh yeah.
But for things like that, if there was some sort of just like app that you could just pay for once, codexes, and then if they do something like that, which is obviously rare, it doesn't happen a lot, but if they do make a mistake or they do update an army significantly, you've got your paper, and it's good for collectors, and for a while it's usable. If they do make significant changes, you just open up the thing on your phone and it's automatically updated, and you didn't have to download anything or print anything or search for anything. It's just there. It's like I'd like an alternative option, I guess, and that kind of Space Wolf Codex thing kind of hammered it home that I don't feel like there is really a reasonable alternative option outside of just download this and print it off, which...
Yeah, I get that. I mean, Warhammer 40,000 still hasn't got its equivalent to the AOS app, because the AOS app is completely up to date. You'd have to buy the battle tome in-app to get its allegiance ability and the like, but if a unit gets changed, as in a unit's rule or a points value, the app will update, so you've always got that to hand as your checkpoint.
Yeah.
Whereas if you need to reference something in the game, I just find paper faster.
Yeah.
I have
to admit, I'm with you on that. It's like for the example I always use is rolling characters for D&D. I've got digital bundles for the D&D stuff, but I always use the player's handbook and Xanathar's, like the paper copies I have, just because it's quicker to navigate. And it, in a way, it shouldn't be. It should be quick search, but it just doesn't work like that for like rule books and stuff. It's way quicker to either just have a couple of bookmarks or memorize a page number, and you kind of way far faster.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to D&D and 40k later. I know Remleiz has something to talk about with that. We'll get to that. But going back to the orcs, one of their stratagems from Chapter Approved has been made into an army special rule. Daka. Every unmodified 6 to hit with a ranged weapon auto hits, so screw you Death Guard, and generates an additional hit roll with the same weapon, which cannot generate further hits.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's so orcs. It's perfect.
Yeah. I'm really glad that it turned out to be more than like... someone sent me a load of stuff from the when they play tested the Codex, and they sent me half of Daka, because as far as they knew, that was what it was. And it was just like, you get an extra attack if you hit. And a lot of people were like, okay, that's not good enough. That's not going to work. Like armies that have got -1 to shooting and stuff and modifiers to the rolls, it doesn't fix the issue that orcs have with shooting. So what's the point? And then that was revealed, and I just kind of sat there and went, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm wrong. So it's so much better than just the thing that I thought it was.
Yeah, I think they need to be careful not to turn orcs into a shooting army by accident. But I do agree with the change that looters now have a worth, flash kits have a worth. Actually, rocket launchers now might do something 50% of the time that they hit, which is nice.
It would be good.
But they've got to be careful that mid-range orcs doesn't become the only way to play orcs. They need to make melee viable for orcs, because I'll be honest with you, Daka orcs is just really, really good, because boys already have 3 attacks anyway. They hit on 3s in melee. They can still go into melee. Just give them a better gun. Why the flip not? They need to incentivize melee as well, somehow. I don't know how, but somehow.
That's assuming that everyone just doesn't buy nothing but orc vehicles. And the only orc armies we ever see again are Speed Freaks and Mad Max based vehicle combat, and that's it.
Well, just get shocked up dragsters and ram everybody over.
I'd be okay with it. I'm not going to lie.
Yep, works for me. What was the other big 40k thing? Flip. What was it? Was it Road Trader? That was the other big 40k thing, wasn't
Well,
it?
there was also the new head sculpt revealed for Sisters of Battle.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of little things for Sisters of Battle. Different weapon sculpts, head sculpts, all sorts of little things actually. So they're working on it. It's not a joke. It's happening.
And the beta codex as well.
Oh yes, yes. In Chapter 2 2018, there will be a full beta don't care codex for the Adeptus Sororitas. So I'm really curious what they put in that, because that will give us the full unit roster before the models come out.
Yeah.
So unless they're not changing the unit roster, what gives?
It's also just like I'm trying to remember the last time, if it's even happened before, where Games Workshop have gone, hey, here's like a full codex beta test for it. Just do it. Go and take this. Have they ever done that before? I don't think they have they?
They've done White Dwarf codices for Sisters before. That was in 5th edition. I don't remember them ever putting out a full set of playtest public release rules. Everything's been tested
The
in-house.
last time they did that, I think, was in 3rd edition. Because that's when they brought around the rules for like the Orc war bikes at the time before the Orc Codex came out. Because they noticed that people were just using Orc war bikes as long-range artillery because they had twin-link big shooters. So they said, right, in that case, your range is halved, and you got Smoke Cloud that comes out, which gives cover save to anyone behind you, and you can use your big shooters in close combat. They did that in Chapter Improved, and then they actually added that into the Codex, from what I recall.
I think you're right. I think I vaguely remember that. So that was a hell of a long time ago. The last time they just threw something out to the public and went, "Here you go, take this."
That was also the time where Thousand Sun Terminators were immune to Strength 4 attacks and less.
Right.
Because why not?
Because why not? But I'll be very interested to see how thick Chapter Approved 2018 is going to be, because Chapter Approved 2017 is quite a thin book. But then again, they're taking out a lot of the old armies because they've been redone now. So I'll be interested to see what's in there aside from the beta codex. I mean, hopefully they do a general town book and do a competent job with lots of interesting missions, rebalancing. That would be nice. We'll see.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'll be honest, I might not massively hold my breath for something quite on that scope, but yeah, we'll just have to see.
True. The General's Handbook was also in line with the new edition, so maybe I'm holding it to too high of a standard. But I see 2 Age of Sigmar and Beasts of Chaos, of all things. I'll be honest, was not expecting this because we got the WarhammerFest Europe, which is a giant black magma blood flaming ball thing.
I thought that was Chaos Dwarves.
I think 90% of people thought it was Chaos Dwarves. I certainly did. And then, no, it's Beasts of Chaos. So Beastmen are back together.
Yeah, it's like, Beastmen were a thing, weren't they?
Yeah, they were split up into the Minotaur faction and the Gore faction. So they've been put back together, along with Chaos Warhounds, or Dragon Gores, I think they're called now, or Thunderscorn as their factions known, with the Shaggoths. So they basically just put all the monstrous, super scary chaos things back together and given them hearthstones, which is cool.
I feel like, to be honest, a lot of the stuff with Age of Sigmar recently has been things where, like, I've only just got into Age of Sigmar, and it's only with the release of the Soul Wars box, where I've kind of been sat there, and as someone who has not been kind of clued into what's happening with that system, or what really, I never really paid attention to Warhammer Fantasy Battles either. So it's, for me, it's just been a case of sitting there on the sidelines and occasionally going, "What the hell is that? What is happening? Why are there steampunk sky dwarfs suddenly? What is this?" And it's exactly the same thing with Deep Sea. Just mind your own business, and then suddenly here's an elf on a massive turtle with giant jaws.
That threw everybody off.
It's just like, what is happening? I don't understand. I really like it, because especially like as someone on the sidelines who didn't really know what was going on with Age of Sigmar as a whole, it was just like Games Workshop suddenly went, what are the most like mental ideas we can have for armies? Oh yeah, let's just do it. Let's just make them. Why not? Just throw it out there. And I'm just kind of sitting there going,
we're going to take a prog rock album cover and turn it into an army.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how well received that stuff was, to be honest. But for me, I was just like sitting there going, "This looks absolutely insane," and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I don't play it, but I would absolutely pick up those just to have them because of what the hell is this?
Yeah, I get that. And I mean, AOS had a cracking year so far. Magakin of Nurgle, that was crossover, fine. Leaders of Nagash, nothing new, but it's death. Then we got Daughters of Cain, fantastic new stuff there, and the Witch Elf's got a new lease of life. Ideneth, as mentioned, blew everybody's minds, veteran and new. Stormcast Sacrosanct, Nighthaunt looked gorgeous.
Yeah, that was what pushed me into Soul Wars. A friend of mine really likes the Stormcast stuff, which I like it, but I'm not like massively fussed. And then the Nighthaunt stuff was revealed, and I was from that moment on, I was like, if that stuff appears in like a starter set for Age of Sigmar, I will start playing Age of Sigmar. And then they did it, and it was an immediate buy straight away. I was just like, I need these.
And then they gave them the black coach, which is just that black coach is.
I remember seeing these way back when there was actually a local gaming store in my town, which hasn't been for years now, unfortunately. There were like two guys who played Warhammer Fantasy, and one of them had a black coach, and I remember being like, it sounds ominous and it looks not good. And then the new one was revealed, and I just thought, that how do you take, like, the fact they took something that was that kind of dated and kind of not great and turned it into what it is now, it just looks so good. It's like one of the best models they've done for ages, and given that most of the stuff they've produced recently has been pretty damn good, I really liked it.
Yeah. And then following on from that, Nighthaunt, I think, were the last book. Oh, God, I can't even keep up anymore. I've forgotten. And now we've got Beast of Chaos, which is nothing. There's no new models save the Herdstone and the Endless Spells, but they're doing a really good job now of starting to put the game back together again. Because when Fantasy died, the factions were splintered massively. The Elves still are, but Beastmen were broken up. Orcs were broken up, goblins were broken up, everything was broken up, and they're now starting to put them back together again in new and exciting and sometimes old school ways. So yeah, it's been a bloody good year, and there's only better to come. There's only more to come. Speaking of which,
Realm of Chaos, Wrath and Rapture, I think it's called.
Yes. Khorne versus Slaanesh. Seemingly box game, but not sure.
Well, it's called Realm of Chaos with a big logo, so I'm assuming it's like a spin-off game.
Potentially, yeah.
And considering it hasn't got a 40k or Age of Sigmar, tagline underneath,
yeah,
something unique.
The Nova reveal put it in the Age of Sigmar column, but unless it's like mortal, everything will cross over. So if there's anything demonic in there, that crosses over. So hopefully new Keeper of Secrets anyway. But that should be really good to get Slaanesh properly up to date. AOS really needs it, and it just catches them up with 40k stuff, because Death Garden does have their own book. We had Khorne Demonkin last edition, and Khorne got all of the love. So
in fairness, Khorne Berserkers need an update because they've been the same model since 3rd edition.
Valid.
They've not aged well either. They
were cool. They look great for the time, but that was also back when you had like a whole bunch of 2nd edition sculpts.
I think were they some of the, I say some of the first, but when Games Workshop properly started to try and make more dynamic poses and try and make stuff look more kind of
they were like the first
alive.
Ones. They had like separate legs, so you can actually have them in running poses and stuff.
Yeah. Compared to other stuff around that time, especially like when you look at like the Chaos Terminators from that time that just looked like statues, the Berserkers looked great because they looked actually alive and like they were capable of moving around on the battlefield. Unfortunately, the standard to which Games Workshop can do them, they look really wooden now.
Yeah, just look at Khan if you need an example.
Yeah.
When are we going to get a new Fabius Bile and Abaddon?
If we don't get Fabius soon, what with Wrath and Rapture is... If it's got to be demons if it's going to be crossover, and if it's AOS focused with the mortal, then they can't do Fabius. So, I don't know.
Weird, Easter egg and shit like Realm of Chaos, Wrath and Rapture. Here's a special rogue element. It's Caldor Drago.
Oh no, no,
Out.
Please, no, never.
Out. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. But either way, it shows that they're not. Well, it shows that they're still doing stuff with different armies. Because obviously, Speed Freaks leads into Orcs. We had Kill Team that led into the Space Wolf, or Tooth and Claw led into Space Wolves, and Soul Wolves led into Nighthaunt and Stormcast. So it seems like every army that gets released gets a box game these days.
Yeah, to be honest, I think we're probably just going to see that going forward. I think whenever they come to refresh a line or they come to, update units or models or whatever, they're probably going to try and offset the cost of redeveloping them by just chucking them in a box game and just trying to ship some of them out that way. I feel like, the last few kind of new stuff we've seen, so the vast majority of it has been connected to some sort of box game that is a bit cheaper than if you bought them separately.
Yeah,
like a
I'm just trying to think of the last thing that wasn't like that. Because, like you say, with Forge Bane,
it'd have been the Ideneth, because they were a full release and got nothing to go with them.
Yeah.
Unless, I can't think of anything since the Ideneth. I'm sure the comments will tell me I'm wrong, but
even I did think maybe Imperial Knights, because Imperial Knights had the new big knights that they didn't have before. Well, I say big, slightly bigger knights that they didn't have before. But even then, they brought back Renegade, which is a really good way to get people into start collecting Imperial Knights when you're getting two of them for, over the cost of one. It's like, I've got two. Why not expand it?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're adding, they're re-releasing the Questoris Knight box set to include Canis Rex.
Yes, and no additional cost as well, which is crazy. I did not expect that. I expected that thing to either be its own separate character, which you couldn't build anything else out of, or for them to bump up the price of the existing knights and throw the sprue in. Chucking in the additional sprue with the extra weapons and then just not raising the cost is very
not GW.
Yeah, very not Games Workshop, especially when you think about the news from the week before with the whole Forge World thing. It's it's so at odds with what's happened. It really took me by surprise.
Yeah, the Forge World thing that happened. That happened, and people are not happy. Understandably, I don't know what the percentage change is, but geez,
it varies. It's anywhere from 19 to 44% increase on some stuff. The specific example I remember, 44%, is the weathering powders from Forge World. If you want those in the US, Canada, and I think Australia, it's a 44% increase in price, which is bad. And for some of the other models, it's a 38%.
I've heard a few reasons as to why it's happened. I've heard some people saying it's to cover the costs of Forge World opening up a new location in America. I've heard reasons saying it's to cover for how weak the pound is at the moment.
Talking about the strength of the pound, I'm not going to go into economics here, but I was in France last year, and I was paying €35 for a 25 quid box, I think, or 50 quid for a 35 quid box. The exchange rate GW gets already on its products is pretty painful for the European and, generally not sterling market. Yeah. It's a hefty markup. I should know. I spent a year buying it, and my wallet. So,
it's one of those things where it's there could be very, very... The workshop will never, ever reveal, because why would they? But at the end of the day, you can try and charge as much if you like. If you just go so you can massive price increase for absolutely no change in the product, then no one's going to be happy with that. No one's just going to sit there and go, I'm not getting anything extra, but sure, I'll 20% on top of what I was before. Why not? It's just you just can't do that. And it's one of those things where if maybe they'd, it sounds cynical and slightly, I don't know, unethical, but slowly increasing the price, they might have been able to get away with it. But
I mean, that's what they've
ramming
done
it
with
up one day. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Everything else they've done that with.
I mean, I remember the days when paints were something like £2.25, and now it's like £3.25 or something. I can't
Hero
remember.
units.
I actually have an old issue of White Dwarf to hand. This is from 2000. So I can tell you the price of some things back then. Like, if you wanted the Chaos Space Marine Lord model, you're paying £6. A Chaos Land Raider, £30. Rhino,
how much is the Land Raider
£12.
now? They're like 45.
I thought like 35. I'll go and have a Google.
The Land Raider now is £45.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ow.
Oh,
I mean,
damn.
White Dwarf itself, I know they've drastically reworked White Dwarf, but that used to be £4 when I started the hobby. It's now about £6.50.
This issue was $3.50.
Yeah. I mean,
in fairness,
inflation's
White
the
Dwarf,
thing.
it's a lot thicker now these days from what I've seen.
White Dwarf's vastly well, I don't know if it's improved.
You get a lot more for
paper.
your money from what I've
You
seen.
get more for your money. Whether it's better quality is up to you.
That's fair enough to say, yeah.
But yeah, it is a really interesting one, and I don't foresee them backtracking on it. I really don't.
No, I think they're just going to take the hit because I think the vast majority will just continue buying regardless. It is what it boils down to. Just because there are plenty of other games to play out there, but they're not the same game, and they're not the same they're not the same style, they're not the same aesthetic, they're not the same models. And so the people who are massively invested in it, I think there'll be enough of them who will just take the hit and carry on buying, that those who are taking a stand and don't want to pay the extra, I think they're just going to end up getting overruled, which it genuinely is kind of sucky, because if you increase prices that much, that also reduces how many people can get into the hobby just by sheer dint of how much it costs to start.
But to play devil's advocate as well, in regards to Forge World stuff, that's always been seen as Games Workshop's quote-unquote premium range for the real hardcore people, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, but Forge World is the primary place you go for 30k. I know you can buy Mark IV, you can buy Cataphractii squads from GW. They're marked up on regular squads already, but then it just gates more people from 30k, which was already an expensive.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Well, yeah, considering each book of the Horus Heresy series is £80 now.
Seriously?
That's how much Inferno was.
Christ.
I'll be honest, I have not gone near 30k just because the cost of it is just the models alone.
In fairness, with black books, they are worth the money because they are not only extremely thick, but obviously leather bound, metal edged, and all that. So they're extremely high quality. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, is it really worth £80?
Yeah, it's half rule book and half collector's item, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the thing for me is that there's not really a middle ground. It's either you buy the massively expensive book or you don't have the rules.
Yeah.
There's no here's the version that costs half as much.
That's
exactly.
What happened to the rule book that was coming out for 30k?
Fires of Syraxis, that one.
No.
The standalone rule book that was coming out.
Just the
I
rules.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
that was announced, wasn't it?
I feel like it was, although I don't remember the details.
Yeah, they announced it ages ago. This was
Maybe
after.
it'll come out with Book 8, because that'll be the last.
It was before the
one.
announcement of Book 8. They said while they're working on Book 8, they're going to release the rules for 30k just in a standalone rule book without all the campaign fluff and all that. It literally just nothing but rules.
Actually, yes, I remember that, but it hasn't happened. And you're right about the whole all-in sort of thing, because with 40k, you can buy, you do need to buy the rulebook, I think, and then you need to buy your codex, but that's it. AOS, everything's free. Apart from if you just want the rules of your units, not their allegiance abilities, and you want the core rules of the game, completely free.
Yeah. You've also got ways round buying the full rule book as well, though. Like with Dark Imperium, you get the rule book, so you can get away with buying that, splitting it with someone. You then paid way less to get started in the hobby. You've got the rule book right there, and if you really wanted to only get the book, you could probably sell the rest of it on eBay if you really wanted to. There's ways round it, whereas there's just no way round buying massively expensive books to get started in 30k. There's just no alternative. It's either you do that or you don't play it, and more options would be nice. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's working, then there's no reason for them to change it.
Yeah, they do run the risk of pricing people out of 30k, but at the same time, if they do that, well, some people will bite the bullet anyway because they're that invested. Some people will buy the books anyway for the lore because, my God, the lore in there is gorgeous.
Me.
Would also be me if I had the time and money. So I get why they're so expensive because, I mean, to be fair, you're getting probably nearly a Black Library novel's worth of stuff, of information in there. You're getting 3 codices on average per
I mean, each book is
Plus
just about twice the size as the current 40k rulebook.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about every single one, but you're getting between 3 and 5 codices, a campaign supplement, and a black in one go. When you put it that way, you're buying about 150 quid's, well, 110 quid's worth of stuff. So it looks good, but the problem, I think, isn't the black books themselves, that there's no cheap alternative. You're right, there's no cheap way in.
Yeah, it's like it's not actually that bad a deal.
Sorry, mate, you just cut out for a brief second.
Just say what you said again.
Okay, yeah, when you break it down into individually what you get, it's not bad, but it's just the fact that there's no way individually. It's like this kind of not bad value bundle, but the bundle can't be split.
Yeah,
you either pay the whole load or you get none of it, which
sucks.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's one of those things where if I had like the extra income to be able to cover it, they're nice things to have, but they just don't have the right kind of ratio of out of them to make it worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's completely fair. Speaking about library, though, we should probably, this is probably more where Rem and I nerd out a bit, but the Horus Heresy's end has been officially announced, just to move the conversation on.
Yes, and the last novel of the Horus Heresy series is going to be The Death Guard's Journey to Terra.
Yeah, do we know if the book's called The Buried Dagger? Do we know if that's the next one, or...
The next one that's coming out is the one that's got Rogel Dawn on the cover. I think it's like called Preparations of the Siege or something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
It's an anthology.
I thought that was an anthology. Yeah, I thought it was.
It is an anthology, yeah. Let me just double check on Black Library's site very quickly.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that's the end of the Horus Heresy? But then does that lead into the Siege of Terror, which is going to be its own series?
Yes,
correct.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I can't remember how far. I think I'm up to date on the Horus Heresy, but I keep messing myself up by going back and rereading the ones I like the most out of them. So I end up out of order with myself, and then a new one comes out halfway through, whatever one I'm reading, and I'm like, oh god, I'm getting behind. I need to sort it. The timeline in my head is so scattered. So
basically, have you read Slaves to Darkness? If yes, you're up to date.
I haven't actually. No, because I started reading the first Heretic again, and then I ended up reading all the Wordbearer stuff again because I have a problem.
I read Slaves to Darkness last week, and it's got some pretty interesting things in it, like with Fulgrim's planet being one of the original Eldari homeworlds, for example.
Yeah.
Well, at the very least, it's strongly implied because it says like Fulgrim's world is a world where our god was born. The last one was born.
That feels like a real middle finger to the Eldar, if I'm honest. I'll just take this.
Yep. I mean,
Marcus sure.
I mean, Bile operates off a Crowan world, so...
And he has a boyfriend, which is basically a fat version of him. We like to call him Fat Grim, even though it's actually Nakari. But Nakari's now a fat Fulgrim who can turn into a full keeper of secrets, but Fat Grim. It's funnier.
Oh, God. So it's taking the weird up a notch from...
it gets very, very weird. It gets
it's
very
Slanesh. Get used to it.
Mind you, I say that. Is there anything Rapture seen for Fulgrim? Is there anything weirder than that, if we're honest? Because I feel like that was pretty peak weird.
True. Also, I don't know if it was mentioned in another previous book, but this book also states that Perturabo is Horus's second in command.
That
Yeah, really?
Yep. Perturabo is second in command.
I mean, would
probably the
you
only
want
one you
anyone
can
else
trust.
doing it?
I was going to say,
I mean, you
Out of all
can't
of
trust
them.
Fulgrim. He's going to go off and do his own thing. You can't trust Angron because he's
Angron.
batshit insane. You can't trust Kurz because no one knows where he is. Alfarius is buggered off somewhere. He literally just showed up at the end going, "I am Alfarius," and then fucked off.
Mortarion wasn't there half the time. Magnus wasn't there half the time.
No. Literally,
Lord-
Perturabo is the only one that Horus can rely on.
I love that. That's I was going to say exactly that. Just Lorgar is Lorgar. There's no. You don't actually need any other. You can't make him second in command.
Well, but I will say this: Lorgar actually beat the shit out of Fulgrim.
Lorgar, the Primarchs, and he always will be. And he's so people don't like him. I mean,
And he beat the shit out of Fulgrim.
great.
He beat the shit out of Demon Fulgrim. Granted, he cheated by shouting Fulgrim's true name, but
Yeah, that's cheating. That's blatant cheating.
they still beat him up. Oh, and bound him as well.
God, you just got to go there, haven't you? When it's Slanesh, there's just no choice. It's
No, he means
done
that
at
in
the time.
terms of bound to will. That you took
Oh,
that,
I see.
you took
Yeah.
Oh,
that
right.
completely the wrong way.
I mean, in fairness,
Not in the kinky
it
way.
is Slanesh. Come on.
Yes. And also it has the fight between Perturabo and Demon Angron.
Which we never knew about. That's new.
Yeah, because Horus is still bleeding out for most of the book. Spoilers. So basically, Perturabo has been sent by the Sons of Horus like, hey, you need to bring, his brothers back. We need you to get Angron. Why me? Because you're the only one we can actually trust to do this, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I can imagine Angron's response was somewhere between demonic yelling and no. Both of them behind the same thing.
Oh, and Perturabo beat the shit out of Angron. And also
What?
it also
I'm
has
not
the
having
first. It also has the first obliterator in the book as well.
Okay, the obliterator right by, but can we rewind to the fact where Perturabo beat Angron in a fight?
Yep.
No.
Like actual
No.
demon Angron, not
Yeah.
just like normal Angron, full on.
How? He must have cheated.
Because-
Please tell me he cheated.
Because Angron was obviously too angry, too predictable, so Perturabo just logics out the way. And it smacked him in the face with Forgebreaker several times. As in, literally, when Angron was on the ground, he was literally just going bang, 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 bang with Forgebreaker over and over.
Nice.
I mean, I imagine reading that and thinking, okay, fair play, badass. But you think about it abstractly, you're just like, I just go like comedic with it, just like Matador style, just whoop out the way. Bang.
It was pretty much like that, yeah. And they all got surrounded by Perturabo's iron circle, all his giant robots.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so basically he just got like Lehman Rust, sort of.
Yeah.
Like a kind of
Yeah.
reversed way. He was still like pulled into doing something stupid and then surrounded. It's just
Basically,
this time
it was
he
a
got his
callback
face
to the
caved
Knights
in.
of the Wolf, yeah.
Okay,
You
fair
know
enough.
what? Maybe I can. Yeah, no, that's fair. When he's really lost to that tactic once, so listening to it a second time, I can easily accept that.
Any other revelations, intrigue, and
Well, Magnus turns up at the end of that book as well, literally just at the end. It's like, hello, I'm here to join the rebellion now. Pretty much.
I mean, to be fair, his soul was shattered for the entire heresy, pretty much. So him only showing up at the end is kind of fair.
Yeah. And all their armor's blue now, so...
Wait, what? Stop. Hang on.
The Thousand Suns, their armor's blue now.
No, wait, stop. Araman did that.
I don't know who did the armor, I just know they turned up and they got blue armor now.
No. Back way down a long way forward in time down the line, Araman went into hiding.
If this is from the Araman novels, it might have been retconned.
Okay, they must have retconned it. Like, Araman kills Armon, takes Armon's armor, and then turns all the Thousand Suns around him blue from red, implying the Thousand Suns stayed red after the Legion splintered. So they've obviously retconned that.
Maybe some of them were blue, maybe some of them were red.
Maybe
it's only started changing in some of them. I don't know.
Possibly.
I'm not an author.
No, that's something I think I'd want to clarify if I got a word with various people, like who did it, all things, because that just threw me off.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Also, I read a Gaunt's Ghost book where there's an entire subplot about cake.
I feel like that's on a
Gaunt.
Actual cake, or
yeah, cakes.
Or demon cakes?
No, cakes.
Oh,
Gaunt.
That sounds like something I need to watch.
Get away with that.
Yes, that's also the book with the goth girl Psyker of Corn in it as well. But hey,
yeah. As for me, fair enough. As for me, I was going down on a train, so I picked up Shadow Sword, the sequel to Bane Haley, because I've been meaning to get that one for ages. Baneblade's actually, yes, but Baneblade's actually quite a good one, and it's an interesting, it's just quite interesting because you've got the Shadow Sword that was enslaved by the orcs and its machine spirits corrupted, and it needs to get its mojo back. That's sort of one of the main subplots of the book.
I've now got this image of the machine spirit of a Shadow Sword basically going, "Hello, baby, time to get my mojo back, yeah!" Boom.
Get out.
I just want to see fan art of a depressed Baneblade. Just really sad, not having it. Just
I lost my mojo.
Basically, the volcano cannon refused to fire, and I just realised what I just.
So basically, the entire book's one massive erection joke.
I was going to say we've all been there.
Well,
speak for yourself.
The secondary plot of the book. I feel like I can talk about this freely because it's been out for ages. But it's set during the Macarian Crusade, and it actually sets it up of this world cannot pay its tithes of troopers anymore. It's been drained dry of resources by the Imperium, and it cannot give any more without collapsing. So the Imperium invades, and we follow the battle from there. And it's actually the corruption of the world by Slaanesh, and it follows one of the aristocrats, the second heir? Yeah, second heir of the planet, as he is corrupted by Slaanesh and witnesses his world fall apart around him as he gets power. And it's really naughty and Watson-y, but it's really, really fascinating.
I like how that's your adjective. It's not Ian Watson-y, so there's no, giant boob buildings with laser nipples.
No. It's hedonism and excess. Massacres, yes, but it's not overt. It's not in your face OTT Slaaneshi. It's really, really quite well written. And then you introduce the Black Templars and the whole idea of, do I spoil the ending?
If it's an old book, you might as well.
Yeah, fine. So at the end of the book, a portal to the warp is opened up and demons start coming out. But there's Black Templars who are fighting them because they were on their way to the same war zone. They've got guided by a vision of the Emperor's champion, diddly-diddly-dee. And at the end of the battle, the Shadow Sword collapses the portal. Black Templar dies. But the crew of the Shadow Sword have now seen a warp portal and demons. And there's a commissar on board.
I'm assuming that goes real well for them.
It wouldn't have done had they not shot the commissar.
Oh, nice.
So the crews have got a mix of people, and one of the Savlar driver shoots the commissar stone dead, knowing exactly what's going to happen. And the second lieutenant, who we followed alongside the colonel for the entire series, the colonel, lieutenant, I can't remember now. The commsman and the commander. The helmsman refuses to lie, so the commander has to shoot him dead. And it's like, how much are we willing to stay alive despite having witnessed something that we're not supposed to see? And can we live with ourselves and all of that? It's really, 2 or 3 chapters are quite rushed, but it's fascinating reading.
To be honest, I quite like stuff like that where it actually deals with the non-superhumans, the non-kind of fully conditioned
The regular
people of the
Jones.
Imperium. Yeah, where it's just like, this is a normal dude who's having to put up with some pretty like horrendous stuff. How would they actually react to this? Would they just sit there and go, oh, we've got to die, but that's fine? Or would you have that moment of, I refuse. I'm absolutely not going to be taking this lying down. Sometimes a lot of that is, let's face it, more relatable than the whole, I know no fear. There is a line of enemies. I will surely die. I'll charge anyway.
The hilarious thing is, I think the Black Templars actually covered for them.
Good guy, Black Templars.
I know.
Seems a little bit.
Like, there's a scene a few chapters earlier where a Black Templar rescues the Colonel of the Shadow Sword, who's about to be overrun, and you get no explanation why at the time. You're just like, hang on, a Black Templar just saved a random citizen's life. Why?
We need you as a meat shield for later.
More accurately, we need your tank later because we saw it in our vision, so we do.
Mind you, wasn't it the Black Templars that helped get the Eldar to Macrae?
That was Celestine. That was entirely Celestine.
Because I have to admit, that was a mild sticking point with that book. There was a little bit too much acceptance for me in that one. But
yeah, it probably would have worked better if it was, a different chapter. But again, Celestine was like, I'm Celestine, bitch. Do what I say.
It's true. She, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Did head wiggle and everything going, mm-hmm. Sassy Celestine, there you go. That's a new meme for you.
God damn it, Remleiz.
Well, it's not like we talked about house ship sex for a while.
Shut up.
Long story, Kirioth. Don't worry about it.
I'll just keep going through them until I get to it.
That's an old one. You'll need to go backwards. But yeah, fine. Is there anything else just in the news before I jump on?
Warhammer Quest.
Oh, yeah. For context, Warhammer is not a new thing. There's been one in Age of Sigmar for ages called Silver Tower.
There's two.
Yeah, there is. But there's the one I know better is Silver Tower, which is kind of Dungeon Crawler meets Warhammer, which is cool. And now there's a 40k one called Blackstone Fortress, of all things. And the wheel.
And what? Sorry, you cut out a second.
Take the wheel. I know you want to talk about this.
So there's a lot of teaser art and stuff, with like these Inquisitor reports saying something like redacted by rogue trainer Janus Drake. And that pissed me off. It's like, Janus Drake. You had the opportunity to call the guy Janus Dark so you could tie it into Farseer, the novel. And he was a rogue trader as well. And you call him Janus Drake. Why couldn't you just call him Janus Dark and just make this a pseudo-sequel to Farseer? Because that hasn't been touched since, 2004? I think the character's due for a comeback. I mean, yes, he's possessed by a fucking Farseer spirit, but still.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, why is there suddenly a Blackstone Fortress that nobody knew about on the fringes of the galaxy? What gives? That was what I was...
No, it's the Janus Drake thing that's pissing me off. Because I liked Farseer. I thought that was a great novel, and I liked the character of Janus Stark. And it's like, you got this guy, like, rogue trader, Janus, Drake, oh, who the fuck are you? And he's going to have a novel as well, so it's like, he's going to have a novel. You could have really put this together. The only thing I can think of is that Bill King didn't give GW the license to use the character or something. I don't know. But
it's like a badly judged homage to it, except they just made it sound terrible because it's too close to the name of a previous character.
But other novels have homaged really old characters, like with Ghost Warrior by Gav Thorpe. There's a spirit seer in there called Kelmon, which is a direct reference to another William King character, Farseer Kelmon, from Astorian Codex Imperialis. That was a good homage because it was the same character. It's like, hey, he's a spirit seer now. He's dead now. Okay, but this pissed me off though.
I have to admit, if it had been the thing of how did no one see this Blackstone Fortress before, at this point, I'm pretty convinced you could hide anything in the 40k universe. Games Workshop have hidden so much just stuff that multiple people should have known about at this point. If you can produce like 1.5 million Primaris out of nowhere, a Blackstone Fortress, no problem. It's probably hidden behind a moon or something. It's fine. Probably. It's just sort of appeared. Oh, maybe it had some sort of cloaking technology that failed.
Right, so do you guys remember the Sahardween? Yeah, the shark people.
I know the name, but I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, very vaguely.
Right, so they're like, for those who don't know, they were a race that were introduced in 1987, like back in Rogue Trader days, and then they were mentioned briefly in Codex Imperialis in 2nd edition, like very briefly in a throwaway line. Also mentions the Catan briefly as well before they got Necroned. I also just found out today that they're actually in one of the Horus Heresy Black Books. Actually in Inferno. It just details that the Space Wolves destroyed their empire. So it's like
I quite like that as a throwback, but it's one of those things where a bit more information might be nice at some point. Yeah. Some sort of maybe mention it in one of the actual Horus Heresy novels. Like one of the things I really liked about Frostbroke Bones was the fact that we actually got to see the Space Wolves in action, destroying what would be really kind of cool civilizations should they have existed all the way into 40k times. There was not a huge amount of that. I mean, obviously the overall story of the Horus Heresy is not alien race is dying, but it does a lot to kind of build the universe. So when Games Workshop kind of drops stuff where it's like, this is an alien race that we haven't seen for years, they're dead. It's just like, can we maybe have a little bit more? Just like maybe give us a bit more information as to what they might have been like and their effect on the galaxy as a whole. No, they've just been exterminated. Okay.
It's kind of like the Slan in Old Earth, kind of.
Yeah. When Eldran and the Wordbearer end up fighting a Slan.
Slan are... this has thoroughly confused me. I was under the impression that... This is a complete tangent as well, sorry. Lizard men, they were just lizard men, right? They were lizards who were also Jess. Why are they now like angels or demons or whatever?
Why universe roll with it?
It seems like such a weird change. Because the last time I looked at any of that stuff, they were just like mortal things, but the Slan were kind of a bit mental, and then it was suddenly the Slan had been in space for 1 million years or something.
So basically, I think because Dracothian is actually Sotek by another name.
In the mind of some. So during the end times, the Slan went to space. That happened, as far as I remember.
Yeah, the temples were actually spaceships.
Correct. And we believe that now exist in the mortal realms. And the Seraphon are in the mind... It's weird, because they've got contradictory things going on about them. Because it seems like the Seraphon are imagined memory given form of the lizard men back when, which is why they look like lizard men. But then in one of the Malign Portent stories, they talk about spawning pools. And I'm just like, which is it?
It's both. A very small portion of them survived. Which is why it's still spawning pools, but most of them are just memories.
Yeah, it is probably both. You're right. I haven't read the Seraphon Battle Tome, so I'm very rusty on lizard.
Also, wasn't Seraphon also the name of Malekith's dragon?
Yes.
Now, do you think that's an intentional thing, or do you think they were like, we've got a really cool name for it?
It sounds a bit like Seraphim.
Do it. And you can't copyright that, can you? So it's probably one.
But it is hilarious that the demons of light and order and diddly diddly dee are named after the most lethal, murderous black dragon. Also,
is that dragon still around, and has it got a new name? That's the question.
Yes and no.
He's
fused with it.
Yeah, they became one. They got married, essentially.
So yeah, Malekith and Seraphon fused, became Malarian. That's the new god of the realm of shadow. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Sounds completely reasonable.
Also, I just want to make a point while I'm talking about Malekith. This is very off on a tangent, but still on fantasy. I got my hands on the second to last Dark Elf Codex the other week, and the blatant chaos Dark Elves is it's kind of hilarious to see that they've got Slaneshi symbols on them and using proper dark chaotic magic, and there's blatant open references between Kane and Khorne, and it's just like...
In fairness, that's been going on since 4th edition. Like, on the 4th edition Dark Elf book, there's a witch elf on a cover with the Rune of Khorne on her head.
Oh, I'm sure it's been a thing with the Dark Elves for ages, but as someone who played High Elves back in the days of fantasy and has now transitioned into Age of Sigmar, where they're on the side of order, Malerian is a god on the border, even if he rules the realm of shadow, it's weird to see them with chaotic alignment-ish.
By technicality, I'm actually a good guy, even though I am the most evil-looking bastard in all the realms.
Welcome to the entirety of everything to do with the elves. That's just Malerian Marathi and the Ideneth in one can go.
That is something that did surprise me. The Ideneth, when I actually looked at them properly, because I was like, these dudes look evil as hell. What is going on with this? They look full on like they're going to tear you open. I was not expecting the alignment that came with that particular faction in any way, shape, or form. I was just like, what? Okay, sure. I guess even the good guys can look really...
I raise you the
awful.
Daughters of Cain.
Yeah, that's true. Although, mind you, to be honest, that sort of thing, I don't know why I get surprised by that, considering that the flesh tearers it's like really names, appearances, they mean nothing these days, do they? It doesn't really have any bearing on anything.
Like, these are the good guys. What are the name? They are the flesh eaters. Okay, then.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they all have good reason. If you do the reading, there's good justification as to why they're on orders side. For example, Marathi was eaten by Slanesh and had to crawl her own way out, therefore hates chaos, therefore the daughters hate chaos. Okay, fine. The Ideneth just want to live in peace. Chaos won't let them do it. They need to keep their home safe. Chaos won't let them do that. So they'll just fight for order and still steal the souls of order people.
Yeah, I suppose actually thinking about it, order and nice aren't the same thing.
No,
like,
this is something that you had to fight. So. It was a really big thing when Daughters and Ideneth came out. There was always like, why are these guys order? Order does not mean good. Get that in your heads. And Stormcast are fantastic for it. Zia is basically the most tyrannical realm you've ever seen.
So
it's just honestly, yeah, in some way. I don't know if it's quite on the level of the Imperium, but by God, Sigmar's got a Zia under his boot. And
this is going to reinforce the whole Sigmarine claim, isn't it? Now, if Zia is going to be as tyrannical as the Imperium.
And this is the one thing I do worry about, is they've got to be really careful in giving the Stormcaster personality, in giving them shades of grey, in giving them intrigue and everything. They have to not turn them into the Imperium. And they have to be really, really, really careful that they don't turn them into the Imperium.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know if you can just have a faction that is just like, that has no shades of grey. I've never found that. Like
Tau.
Back when, yeah, I mean, even
no, shades of grey now and then, yeah.
Yeah, but originally everyone just thought, oh, Tau are too squeaky clean.
Yeah, that's why no one liked them back then.
I remember when Necrons came out with their first, like, their first full codex army. I had, of course, and even as I was collecting them, I was like, I kind of wish there was a little bit more to these guys than we have. Woken up, you will die. And that was their entire personality. There was nothing else. It was just that. It was like, I remember kind of even at the time, like the models really play, I like the rules, but they're not actually that interesting, really, are they?
But
they're fun, but not interesting.
And then they gave them a personality in 5th edition. Everyone said, no.
Yeah, I think they just gave them the wrong personality is what it was for me. It was kind of like, I wasn't keen on what you did before. Or this is marginally worse, but we'll see what happens in the future, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And it is really interesting to see how factions evolve. Like, the Tau now, if you read up on the 4th sphere, where the Ethereals are idiots. Like, seriously, Ethereal Council, make sure you don't activate all of the AL38 Slipstream modules at once, because we haven't tested that and it might not be safe. Okay, activate them all at once. Massive wormhole. were you expecting?
Whoops.
And I just like, there's this Fiovre, which is not high ranked, by the way. I was expecting FOL, but whatever. Who just says, no, don't do this. Don't do it too much at once. Do it for the entire fleet. Disaster. It's just...
Yeah, it's a proper...
Why don't you just abandon all the ethereals, you idiots?
And then
isn't that part of the whole mind control thing, though, isn't it? The ethereals. It's kind of implied that they're controlling the rest of the race through... Was that started by... Was it the Vespids that was that kind of started off?
It's very
they put a hat on the Vespids, and the Vespids like, we will join you now.
Yeah, was it the Helm of Communion or something? I think.
Yes, Communion Helm. It was.
Because I remember that being like, ooh, the Tau, a little bit dark. Ooh, this is they're not just all goody good, and then weird things happened, and now we're at the point where they're just doing mad stuff for no reason. Yeah,
and it's interesting about the whole ethereal control thing, because we've had the second ever example of a Tau saying no to an ethereal. However, that ethereal was dead.
Well, it's easy to say, no to an ethereal that's dead.
Well, it was Holo Anvar, so dead but living as hologram, and every other Tau has gone alive, don't think about it. Rin was just like, nope, I'm not doing what you tell me, Ethereal Supreme. Oh, shit, bye. And runs off to the far side enclaves.
Actually, that's another thing. Because, again, Tau, I never collected Tau. Our side, did his sword always steal the life from his enemies, or was that like a more recent development?
It's been a thing as long as I've been reading, so that as the 6th edition supplement absolutely said it out loud.
Right.
I don't know if it said it before that. So I don't know if the original 3rd edition codex said it explicitly. Rem, you might know.
I don't have the 3rd edition Tau codex, so I can't tell you off the top of my head, I'm afraid.
I had it, and then I lost it when I moved, and I was gutted, because it was one of those things where I got it when it came out thinking, oh, maybe I might collect these guys. And then I just didn't touch it. It just got put in a drawer somewhere. Found it like the day before I moved house, and then it didn't move house with me. And I was like, no, it's the one thing I couldn't find.
Yeah, that's unlucky. But I don't know. I think the chronophagic thing is, it's well enshrined by this point. It's at least nearly 10 years old, or 5, 6 years old at this point. So I'm not going to argue with it. It's just I'd have to go back and check back when. Okay. Was there anything else new going on for over an hour already, just about the news? Is there anything else there that I've missed? Well, there's all the Middle-earth stuff. That's
no one cares about that.
Oh, one thing to mention. Turn signals on Land Raider, for anybody who remembers that. That's back.
Chirp, chirp.
Nope, nobody? Apparently it's a very famous webcomic called Turn Signals on...
I've not heard of it personally, so...
Yeah, I have to admit, that was one of those things where I saw a few people get very excited and went, sure, great. I don't know what that is, but I'm glad you're happy.
When I first saw that, I thought, what, they're actually putting turn signals on Land Raider models now?
Good answer. I thought it was basically kind of like role models, which is the AOS webcomic, which is utterly brilliant. But I don't know. I think wait and see on that one. Wait and see.
Yeah.
And there's another artist webcomic thing called Vainglorious, which is related to the completely useless brother of the Rogue Trader in Kill Team Rogue Trader. Which is a thing.
So I quite like the sound of that, to be honest. That does sound kind of cool.
Just sounds like incompetent Rogue Trader does stuff. Oh, dear.
So basically, kind of if it's done by a Rogue Trader instead of a Commissar. Got
it. Yeah, I suppose. And quickly, Shadespire, it's Season 2, has had a bit of a preview. There is a Nighthaunt warband now, a Sacrosanct warband, and we've seen a flying squig. Dragon thing. It kind of looks like a baby squig dragon. I don't really know what it is.
If it's not called a squidgeon, I'll be genuinely upset. That is the only name for it. I don't know what else they're supposed to call it. It's too good. Also, there's no way that thing could fly. But then again, I suppose this is in the same kind of universe where airship dwarves are fighting sharks with elves on the tops. So who am I to comment on the
magic in a word
dynamics of anything?
I mean, the elf thing is
just wizard did it.
Yeah, I mean, half of it I think is I don't know what the Caradron's lore is, but I know the elves are just a wizard did it.
For the Caradron, it's
they bring the sea with them.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Everything is wizards. There we go. Is it time for questions?
Yeah, just one more thing. If you live in North America, there are to be a shorts, and I'm fucking jealous.
All I got was, if you live in North America, I'm fucking jealous.
Warhammer school clubs.
Oh.
Genuinely a good idea.
I know.
It's such a good idea. We didn't have any of that.
I mean, I had a Warhammer club at school. I helped start it. But where was this? Like, teachers can sign up kids about Warhammer. Why wasn't this a thing?
The thing is, it's not just that, though. There's stuff like D&D, like school stuff starting now, where actual teachers starting D&D things. And I got none of that. None of that when I was at school. I got a subpar education, and that was it. I didn't get nothing special. Where was all the 40k and D&D? I was going to say, like 15 years ago. Where is it then?
I mean, my teacher managed to somehow blag his way to get us a school trip to Warhammer World once.
I mean, that's not bad.
We were doing school league, so it was kind of we went and did a school league open day at Warhammer World in year 10. So that was the best I got, and it's quite annoying because my friends are going weekend and I can't go because it's my birthday.
Surely the one time that you should be able to go is if it's your birthday. Isn't that the day where you can go do whatever I like?
No, because there's two of us. I have a twin.
Okay. Well, just take them with you.
Not happening.
What do you mean you're not interested in this? It's my birthday.
Aye, but hey, I'll go some other time, I'm sure. So yeah, I think that's it.
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, for God's sake. Questions?
Yes, okay. Question for Michael. With the Tau 5th expansion, let's say the Farsight Enclaves join the whole Tau Empire. Do you think they can survive a war from Ghazghkull?
No. Ghazghkull's war is so powerful the Imperium can't keep it in check, and an entire Hive fleet can't keep it in check. Ish. A draw, so yeah, it can't keep it in check. I'm sorry, if Ghazghkull hits the Tau are royally.
Fair enough. Question for me. Could Yvraine utilize the Inari in performing certain tasks to support Imperial forces to give Guilliman reasons to continue holding up the non-aggression pact? Guilliman already does that. He sent Yvraine on a few missions, basically that were of interest to them both, so...
Yeah, the Hand of Midnight?
Was it Hand of Darkness or Hand of Midnight?
I think Hand of Darkness sounds right.
It was the Hand of something.
Yeah, that one was Intel.
The Hand of fan fiction shipping, there we go.
That is now the official name.
Do you think the Tau get their own version of the Inquisition?
Yes, they do. We don't know what it is, but they do. Because supporters of Farsight... yeah, it will be members of the Imperial Council. Because members of Tau Society, who were open supporters of Farsight, went missing after his censure and sort of his Legend's destruction.
Okay. How does Space Marine recruitment now that they have Primaris?
It's the same.
Yeah, I think it's just the same, isn't it?
I think they mean in regards to how they decide who gets regular GC and who gets Primaris.
I was under the impression that it was... I don't know, I suppose that just recruits that was split, wasn't it? Although, then again, there was some... I think there were some recruits that went straight from being... I say straight from being human. Obviously, they had to have all the stuff done first, but they kind of went human Primaris, but then there are also Space Marines that transition from Space Marine to Primaris as well. So I guess it would just depend on.
I've heard about the Space Marines getting upgraded, but I've never seen it happen. I feel like that was just a throwaway sentence that everyone took to heart, but I've never seen it happen.
The only thing I've seen that even comes close to that happening is, in Dawn of War 3, where Diomedes gets upgraded to a Primaris champion, but that's just more of a cosmetic skin more than anything else. So,
wasn't there? Oh damn! What's his name? In Gathering Storm, there's a Primaris Ultramarine who is like he's an Ultramarine that Gilliman knows from.
Is it Felix?
Back in the I think it might be Felix from like back in the Crusade, like way during the Horus Heresy, or possibly even before the Horus Heresy. And he keeps talking to that guy and like favoring that guy because he is like one of the few living connections to his past. I think it is Felix, but I'm pretty sure he was. I think he might have been like a fresh Space Marine that was then carted off to be messed
they were
with.
All neophytes at the time, from what I can recall, before the ones who got selected for the Primaris project. So them being neophytes means they probably were young enough to, still get the upgrade.
Yeah. I think were they kept on ice for ages? And
yeah,
then
there was a
slowly
chapter,
doing batches or something.
There was a chapter of Ultramarine successors who were founded in 31. So there are chapters who were founded all the way back. So yes, I assume. I don't know. It's just a throwaway sentence that I think has never really been pushed again that I can remember.
There's a couple of things like that with the whole Primaris, with like the Ultimate Founding and stuff. There's a big deal made about how some chapters wouldn't accept them, and then lo and behold, every chapter was like, "No, we refuse." Fine, we'll have them. Like Dark Angels was the big thing. I was getting really excited. I was like, "Oh my god, can we actually see a proper Imperium civil war? This could be awesome." Oh no, they don't care.
Well, that's not strictly true. Azrael was going to shoot Gilman out of the sky.
Oh yeah, there was like a standoff moment, wasn't there? But then,
well, a one-sided standoff because Gilman was the one who didn't care.
Yeah, I suppose Gilman was kind of got that
Gilman's
down pat.
Shut up, Belial. I think in regards to the recruitment of who gets to be a Primaris and who doesn't, I think it's just down to the chapter master or chief apothecary's discretion.
Probably. I mean, the one thing that's interesting to me is when we get the next founding 28, 9, can't remember now. The next one, whatever it is, the next one after Ultima, will they even bother with regular Marines again?
To be honest, I'm going to go with no, but I think it's a mix of story thing, but I think it's mostly down to a model thing, because I'm convinced that we're going to see standard Space Marines be phased out.
Possibly.
Not like tomorrow, but like over the next few years, I think we're going to slowly see. Yeah, I think we're just going to see Primaris versions of everything slowly crop up until all of the original Space Marine stuff has been replaced, at which point the standard Space Marines will just be quietly phased of, oh, these are no longer in stock, and then you will never be able to buy them again.
But it's interesting because that was something that everybody, for want of a better term, shit the bed about. Primaris were revealed. It's the end of the Space Marines, they're all going to be gone. Panic. That was the problem. Everyone, there was a lot of problems when Primaris were revealed, but that was one of them.
Yeah, I think the thing is that people kind of assumed it was going to happen instantly. It was like, the Primaris are here. Say goodbye to Space Marines now. They're never going to just like cut support for the line like instantly. They were going to be like, here's 4 Primaris units. Oh, by the way, everything else is gone. They were never going to do that. It'll be like a slow burn. It'll just be a slow replacement of everything in that range.
How well Space Marines in general sell.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
And for all that a lot of people really don't like Primaris, or at least don't like the way Primaris look or the lore or whatever, you cannot move for seeing people paint. Like the ratio of Primaris armies to standard Space Marine armies when it comes to like every forum I go on, like all the different 40k subreddits and like mini painting Reddits and all of that, it's never, hey, I just finished this tactical squad. It's, here are my intercessors.
Yeah.
And it's just like that all over the place. For all that there's a very vocal group that really doesn't like anything about them,
They're the minority.
They're massively successful. Yeah.
To be fair, there is a very loud minority on a lot of things in this hobby. We're not going to... Yeah. But there is always a very loud minority about one thing or another. And I think the Forge World thing is going to be another one. They're a correct, but they're still going to end up being the minority, I suspect.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Okay, next question. Question from Michael. What do you think will happen with the Fourth Sphere expansion? Will they join Farsight? Didn't a bunch of them already do that? Some
did. There were a bunch who will have either censure or for whatever reason to join the Enclaves. Orin is Fifth Sphere, so doesn't count. As for the Fourth Sphere, well, actually, War of Secrets goes on about this quite a bit. Fourth Sphere commanders, it will end up... Oh, was it Fifth? But a lot of Fourth Sphere commanders will end up being censured, ritually punished by the Malkla, or whatever it's called, or they'll have to leg it. So probably just be filed away under it happened, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, how long do you think the current setting will last? 10 years, 5 years, 30 years, etc.?
As in until they move the plot?
Well, considering that from 4th edition onwards, the plot didn't actually move until 7th.
Which was 12 years? Yeah, 2004 was 4th edition.
Because 3rd edition introduced the Third War of Armageddon, which was a huge plot point, obviously, and the 13th Black Crusade, which they kind of swept under the carpet, saying, no, that never actually happened. Hey, it happened again in 7th edition.
Nonsense, because I took part in that, because that was a global campaign, and it was awesome.
Yeah. I think Codex Eye of Terror.
I spent so much money on a 13th Company army when the Eye of Terror Codex came out, and then it just wasn't a thing anymore. That crusade never happened now. It's just...
Wasn't that also the crusade where Abaddon killed Eldrad?
Yep.
And then
died.
Yeah, Chaos won as well, quite convincingly too. And then it was just like, and nothing really happened. It's like, damn it.
If Chaos won completely, I think Games Workshop would be like, shit.
Yeah.
Win.
It was, in a way, a terrible idea, because opening up to actual kind of games and results does mean that there's a chance that the wrong side will win, and the wrong side definitely won, because the setting kind of can't deal with Chaos actually stomping everyone.
No, it can't.
Wasn't there something similar with Warhammer Fantasy where Games Workshop wanted Chaos to win, but ended up being the Orcs winning?
I don't remember. Maybe was that Shadows over Albion? I don't know. But I don't remember. But I think GW probably learned their lesson of the 13th Black Crusade, because they did another global campaign when 8th edition came out, Fate of Konor, but that was concentrated on one system.
Yeah.
Which is, if Chaos... All right, they get one more system. Okay, that's a quick rewrite. Not the entire universe just died. Shit, retcon everything. This never happened. You saw nothing.
In first, one given that did come out of it was you had that really awesome Black Library book about the 13th Black Crusade, which was like told in a journal style, like someone who was actually there. And you had some weird stuff in there as well, like you had the Chaos propaganda against, Ursarkar Creed, and you had a random Necron monolith appearing on Cadia, and it's like, hey, there's a bunch of Necrons here now. Oh, they're gone. Just randomly. I think that was the only precedence to bringing Trazen back, for Gathering Storm.
Yeah.
Because hey, there were Necrons there previously, let's bring one back. Why not?
Also Pylons, lol.
Yeah. Okay, question... Did you ask Markiplier what to depict him as, or did he come to the conclusion that he is a commissar? I need to know. I asked him. He said a commissar. Rest is history.
Yeah.
Okay.
What we always do is you'll know our good friend the artist Sleepy does the art for these episodes, specialize it per guest. But we do ask the guest or if they don't have an avatar already, as Kirioth does. What would you like? Okay, we'll work with that. That's general rule of thumb.
I got incredibly lucky with the avatar that I use, because there's someone who who is a subscriber to the channel, just messaged me over Twitter one day and went, "Hey, I do like artwork and stuff, and I do 40k stuff in my spare time. So I drew you as a Black Templar. I hope you don't mind." And I was just like, sorry, what? Say that again? And they just sent me the picture and went, "You can use this for whatever you like." Which is hands down the nicest thing anyone has ever done. It was amazing, but it was like one of those moments where I kind of had a thing of, did that actually happen? Did this person steal this and put my face on top of it? Is it actually original? I was searching like various websites and Google images and like, surely someone didn't just do this. And he had just gone, yeah, no, here you go. I just fancy doing this, so take that. And now it's my everything. Ridiculously good.
It is.
What a nice person. Okay, after the death of both the Fire Howlers and Iron Wolves completely by post-Cadia, then why are they still represented as a great company even though the name and company markings for the two would have changed?
Because GW were being lazy and hadn't done the Space Wolf Codex yet?
Probably.
I mean, I haven't seen the new Codex. They might have retconned that now. Don't know.
Okay, Lilith Hesperex versus Khan, who would win? Khan. Khan killed a living saint. Well, he killed multiple living saints, so...
Fair. I mean, yeah, Lilith is very, very fast, but one hit and she's down.
Khan also has like 10,000 years of experience.
So does Hesperex. She's got at least 5 or 6. The first time she showed up was M35, so she's old, but yeah, fair point.
Okay, how would Ferrus Manus view the Tyranids? Probably very squishy.
Wait, they don't use energy-based projectiles? How am I supposed to block that?
Yes, catching the laser in his hand and crushing it. Beautiful. Did you hear about that, Kirioth?
No.
Yeah, in his Primarch novel, he gets shot with a las cannon, he catches the las beam and crushes it.
How does that... What?
It doesn't work.
What?
Magical hands. Magical Necron metal hands. He catches the las cannon bolt and crushes it.
My physics brain refuses to compute.
That's terrible. That's actually terrible. Why would you do that? Don't write that.
But at the same time, you can also argue Ferrus Manus being one of the most badass Primarchs. Who else can crush las cannon beams?
Laws of physics, and I know the laws of physics shouldn't apply in a universe where we have psychers and demons and stuff, but no! I do physics. That hurt. That genuinely hurt.
Do you throw it back? That's the main question.
No, he just crushed it and it shattered into the particles.
Throwing it back's fine. You can block it and it bounces off because you've got mirrored surfaces and reflectivity, but catching and crushing with light doesn't work.
Because I'm
Ferrus Manus, if it was quick enough.
If it was plasma, that's fine. If it's light, which it is probably, then no.
What if he like...
Kirioth, don't start. Shut up and move on.
Just quick enough. It would just bounce around because it's all metallic and shiny on the inside. Maybe that's what it was. But it's just a perfect seal.
He still has an arm on the inside of the living metal. The
What if he
arm would
caught
have been
it
cauterized.
and started using it as a lightsaber?
I mean, we're moving on now.
That'd be fine.
We're moving on now.
Right. Question from Michael. Have you read the older Elder Codices? Because they talk about the god in the Infinity Circuits and the Crone Swords and the Elder coming back after the last battle. Now that new is just presented badly.
Yeah, as a Iliad, I think has been a thing for a long, long time. Just very little information.
It's been a thing since at least 2007.
Which would be the back end of 4th.
Yeah. But it was just mentioned in very offbeat text saying, like some believe that a new god is forming within Infinity Circus, and they call it Iliad, the god of the dead. The end.
I mean, credit for GW not inventing, laying way out and deciding, let's use what we had before. That's good. Credit for that. But,
there's quite a lot of that kind of foreshadowing stuff in all of the races, and that's like with all the Space Wolf stuff coming out. I've seen a lot of stuff where people are like, it references Russ coming back. I'm pretty sure it's done that since the first one.
It's
Like
that
vague
quote
references
is
of
that
at the wolf time.
Yeah,
It's
that
kind
quote's
of
been around since Codex Imperialis, but it also says, "I'm dying, by the way."
Yeah, it says no matter what realm of death holds me, implying he's being dead.
yeah, it's not much of a handicap anymore, though, is it?
I mean, what I think you're referencing is the last paragraph in the timeline segment where Niall and Ulrich and Bjorn have a chat because Portents and we don't know what was said. I think, is that what you're referencing? Or is it just that old quote?
It's that particular quote. Like any time there is some sort of speculation or anything like that to do with Primarchs in general, but because the Space Wolves Codex is around, it's like that seems to crop up a lot, and it's always used as but it says this, and it's just one of those things where Games Workshop they're not dumb. They will put foreshadowing stuff in. Some stuff will never happen, and other stuff it's like, oh yeah, well that was talking about that all the time.
Yeah, like Lion, same thing.
Yeah.
When first with Lion, they've already said like, "Hey, the Lion's alive since 1995." So
he just has the most.
He's a very deep sleeper.
Man.
He's a very heavy sleeper. Right. Okay. I'm still catching up with the Horus Heresy books, but this is in regards to the possibility of Sanguinius totally failing to do anything against Horus. Do you think GW can do this and maintain the respect Sanguinius' fighting ability is held, and especially since Russ has already defeated Horus?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that fight, because Russ, now with Wolfsbane, we've seen Russ beat corrupted Horus, like full Malek power corrupted Horus, beat him convincingly-ish. So
Russ thrust his huge throbbing spear deep into Horus's body.
Going back to Slanesh again. To be honest, it doesn't actually have to be about combat prowess. Is the thing. There's so much stuff that references, the regard in which they held each other in their relationship that it doesn't necessarily have to be a case of Sanguinius sort of lunatic incompetent and just standing there with his guard open and wondering why he got stabbed. There's going to be more to it than just, trading blows. There will be some sort of psychological issue with him to enable him to be distracted or distraught enough to be taken down. It's probably going to be a similar deal to Fulgrim and Ferris, where it's, the momentary lapse is what causes the downfall.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that Russ, Mr. Legion Killer, had a moment of, oh shit, and that allowed Horus to not die. Sanguinius is probably going to have that the entire fight.
Oh, speaking of Legion Killer Lehman Russ, how everyone says that, Lehman Russ killed the two lost Primarchs? They hadn't clearly read Wolf King, because he actually said up until Prospero he didn't know a Primarch could be killed.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't even thought about that.
So it's like, well, clearly he didn't kill the second and 11th, because otherwise he would have said, I know what it's like to kill one.
I don't think he would be I don't think he'd be down with the whole, we will never talk about this again. I feel like...
He'd be the kind of guy to brag about it and say, yeah, well, fuck you, I managed to kill one of my brothers, so fuck you.
The great sagas told on Venom, the traitor killer that they were put down for some reason for mutation.
I killed a god! I'm also Brian Blessed!
I was more meaning the sagas of the Space Wolves themselves would tell of how he stalked the stars, slaying demigods and those who turned from the light of the Orpha. It would be somewhere in history if he'd done it.
Yeah. To be honest, I just kind of assumed that either the Emperor did it or there was some sort of 10-on-1 situation with Custodes.
A wizard did it.
Or a wizard. Malcador.
Well, there is that picture of Malcador sitting on that throne with the two skulls, one Mark II and one Mark 11.
Was that canon artwork or was that fan art?
That was canon artwork. That was on the cover for the audio drama Sigilite.
I couldn't quite remember. Yeah, it would be interesting if they've referenced the fact that 2 existed. Like Fulgrim talks about 2.
A lot.
So,
In 2 books he talks about it. Like once in Palatine Phoenix and the other he's mentioned it in Clone Lord.
yeah, so okay. We know 2 is. I just love that 11 was just a glitch in the Matrix, quote unquote, and the 11th never existed. It was supposed to. Had to just sweep it under the carpet by saying, "Oh, he was lost." No, the Emperor's work was fine. There was no problem with the Emperor's work. There was no glitch in the creation of the. Oh, shush! What are you talking about?
I am Alfarius. Just randomly.
If one day someone says Omegon is the 11th.
Oh, and you know people who do say that is unreal.
I know.
I mean, wasn't that fairly convincingly disproved anyway? I mean, although mind you, I stumbled onto the theory that there's 3 Alpha Legion Primarchs, which I didn't know was a thing until recently.
Right.
It's like, if you look at the symbol, there's 3 heads to the Hydra. It's like,
hey, that picture's got Alpha, Omega, and Sigma. Sigmar is the 3rd Alpha Legion Primarch.
Yeah,
how
this is
people
one
treat
of
that as legitimate is baffling. Even though the 3rd head is representing the Legion.
Yeah, and also you cannot just look at for all of the the Alpha Legion are so careful with subterfuge and subtlety and everything else. Why would they just be like, oh yeah, we're going to stick the fact we've got 3 Primarchs all over our armor? Just no one else has done this. No one else specifically labels how many people of authority getting it onto themselves, but we'll do that because we're the Alpha League. It's completely counter to what they actually do.
I mean, did they even use the
metaphorical
Omega
anyway?
symbol? I mean, did their armor even include Alpha and Omega on it anywhere?
I'm pretty sure
it had Alpha.
But did it have Omega?
I think it did, actually. And some of them did, anyway.
Maybe.
But again, Alpha and Omega beginning and end, it's, you could argue that.
Yeah, you can use Omega, but they were the last lead there, Legion 20.
Well, they are, yeah. So, anyway, do you have any Warhammer-themed pickup lines?
No.
You sure?
100%.
I mean, I got sent a load because I found a terrible article that used the phrase "sweep the special chimney" and ended up getting a bunch of 40k based equivalences to those sent back to me, but I now can't find them. Like
polishing your power sword, that kind of thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of that, like launching the Death Strike. Just general things like that. There's something about what was it? Invading the heretical cavern as well. That was another one. It went on. It was quite. It was kind of that was it. Crusade into the Eye of Terror, plunging into the warp, deep striking behind enemy lines. There's not necessarily pickup lines, but the best one is still Exterminatus Her Death World, which has got a touch of class to it.
That's fantastic. Next question. Would you like to see Luther and the Lion meet up and have Luther explain that he is responsible for the treachery on Caliban? And never telling them why.
Oh. No. This is interesting because Luther, for 10,000 years plus or minus change, has been saying, Lion will absolve me. I did nothing wrong, and so on and so on and so on. And then he escaped. So was he lying?
The Lion will absolve him.
He just got bored.
Lion will absolve him. That means Luther founded the Angels of Absolution. Or not. But yeah, it will be fast if Lion wakes up, what he thinks of Luther, how he treats Luther and the Fallen, and so on, and how Luther reacts to him, and so on and so
forth. I would have thought he'd just try and, I would just assume try and kill him. Would there even be a conversation? Or...
I'm going to beat the shit out of you after I'm done polishing my power sword.
Oh, God. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure that there was no malice behind Luther escaping. It's just
happened.
The lion has been asleep for so goddamn long that after a while, you're just going to be like, I mean, I could leave or I could wait here for another 100 years doing nothing. I'm going to leave. I think I'll just leave.
I mean, he was broken out, to be more precise. They came and broke him out.
I mean, he could have asked to stay.
We don't know.
Sign on the outside.
Yeah, but wasn't Luther also shown as being a bit better?
Psycho. Completely off the fucking rails, yeah.
Speaking of the lion, sleeping and that, I've now got this TTS-style image in my head of Lionel Johnson waking up, but he's like wearing, one of those stereotypical nightgown things, you get from like Tom and Jerry with like, the sleeping cap.
Yeah, with the hat with like the ball on the end.
Yeah, just like slippers on, just walks over to a fridge, and the other members of the inner circle just turn around and watch him. He's going through the fridge and he goes, "Who ate my chocolate cake?"
It was going on. It's gone offline. It's been 9,000 years. It doesn't keep for that long, even in the fridge. You should have got up earlier.
So, you know how there's the whole to torture engine as rail time call loop chicanery thingy-majig? I'd kind of love it if Lion woke up, went up to the bridge, being welcome, given a hero's welcome, goes to meet the chapter master, sees eyes, was like, "You." Just socks him, reason why Luther and Co escaped the first time, and so on.
Asriel, the Primarch just punched you. Shut up, Belial.
I know. Which would be a really fun way to just be like, okay, that's confirming the torture engine thing happened. All right, bang. There we go. Oh.
Right.
Ow.
Do the books on Da Beast explain much from the Orc's perspective?
Not really. Because evil. You were talking about Evil Sun's Rising last time. That's like only Orc perspective-y thingamajigs.
Well, apart from the new audio dramas that came out, the 3 of them.
Oh yes.
Which was like Fury War or whatever it was called. I don't know. Okay, question for all, including the guest. What was the first 40k book you read? I'm assuming novel.
Hell's Reach.
Oh. I genuinely can't remember. I think it was either... Was it Storm of Iron? It might have been there was a Sisters of Battle book of Faith and Fire, maybe?
Faith and Fire sounds right.
Okay, that's creepy because those 2 books are exactly what this person commented.
Oh really?
That's creepy.
That's fucking weird.
I swear I didn't like that's not my account. I didn't send that question in just to give the same
answer. Are you sure you're not Dark Horse 989?
I'm pretty sure I would not be able to remember the digits. Those. I think it's one of those 2. I'm pretty sure would be the first 40k book I'd read.
For me, it was the Gaunt's Ghost novella that came with an issue of White Dwarf back in 1998. I think it was just called Gaunt's Ghost.
Nice. Yeah, mine was. No. Oh, go on.
I tell a lie. It wasn't that. It was a Space Wolf book where 2 Space Wolves are either sent to Terra or are on Terra because someone's killing ancient navigators.
Ragnar's Exile to Terra.
Yeah, one of the Space Wolves is like a big fat guy.
It's one of the Ragnar Space Wolf omnibus.
Fat Space Wolf.
Yeah, just like the rare genetic freak fat Space Wolf.
It's hilarious that I've done Ragnar's lore video this week and talk about that exact event in that video, so that's still creepy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that. I think I borrowed it from someone, and I still have it.
Was also the one who just at one point when he asked for a reward, he just asked for a pie. Like, how can I reward you? I want to meet pie.
Yeah, I think there's a scene in that book where they're like in a pub or something, and he's just downing massive tankards of ale, and then someone bumps into him, and he just loses his shit and kills everybody. It's like, all right, shut up, mate. He's enjoying a pie, having a drink. Yeah. It was a weird book, I'm not going to lie.
They were Bill King, weren't they, the Ragnar novels?
Yeah, they were, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it wasn't Ian Watson.
But still, those novels are kind of weird.
Well, they're still one of the earlier 40k books. I mean, I think the first Space Wolf novel came out in 1998, so...
True, but when we're talking about the whole Spear of Rust thing, where it's not even kept on Fenris, it's just kept with some random wolf guard who saved Lehman Russ that one time after the Horus Heresy. Hang on, wait, he left immediately. Okay, run with it. And the spear's just there. Oh, and suddenly Magnus the Red has been on this planet several times, and the Space Wolves have beaten him there, and so on and so forth. And Ragnar throws the Spear of Rust into a warp portal, and that stops a ritual to summon Magnus. And
now I'm
weird.
Cross-eyed.
It gets weird. It must be fantastic reading. I've read the first Space Wolf book. God, it gets about it.
I feel like the overall quality of the of 40k novels and stuff has definitely gone up over time. Not the bad.
It just doesn't play by the rules.
Yeah, it's a lot more consistent now, to say the least.
Well, I mean, it's not as bad as, that book Into the Maelstrom, which talks about Primarch Rubenek.
Yep.
Who is that? What is that? There is one terrible author. Is it
Ian Watson?
C.S. Goto?
Goto, yeah, okay.
Oh, dear God.
The backflipping Terminator and the Land Raider turning into a Razorback.
Multi-lasers!
Chaplain, Joe winning multi-melters with a jump pack. No, fine.
And fire dragons being unable to destroy a wooden barricade with their fusion guns.
The ones that melt ceramite and plasteel and tanks.
I know I've read stuff of his, but I actually think it caused some sort of trauma because I can't remember any details at all. I just remember it being awful.
Was it Goto who also said that Eldrad Ulthram was actually part of a Slaanesh worshipping cult and Lilith Hesperex actually lives on a world within the Eye of Terror as a Slaanesh worshipper? And now everything with Eldar is just, torture scene, torture porn, torture porn.
That sounds right. Yeah, and ditching their transports for a Rhino because it was more heavily armoured as well. I just didn't remember that, which that's not how that works at all.
That's not how that works at all. Oh, dear.
Maybe we can make this Rhino do a backflip.
Just line it up against one of the Eldar vehicles, go at sufficient speed, use it as ramp. Easy.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Okay, if the Emperor showed up today, who would he go after first?
Chaos.
He'd probably scratch his nose.
But, yeah, whatever. It's not going to happen. If it does happen, I'll be shocked.
No. If Black Library made an audio drama featuring felinids, do you think it should be read by Danny John Jules?
I think the stunned silence probably says it all.
I think
for that
Michael
one.
was typing to look at him and was like, who's that? I think that's the guy from Red Dwarf.
Yeah, it is. It's Cat.
Yeah.
It's the cat from Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
But I'm sure.
Why not?
Sure.
So, it is the 41st millennium. That kind of thing.
Dear.
Do you think the Imperium realizes that Araman now has a black hole for a face?
What?
According to Black Legion.
I
don't think the Imperium would know that Araman has a black hole for a face. I think they'd just see him with his helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I feel like it's a difficult thing to discover, really, unless someone wants to show it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, more physics brain pain. Stop it.
That's right, it's a magic helmet, that's why it doesn't collapse. It can crush a las cannon beam. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. And then he can wield it as a lightsaber at the same time, because why the fuck not? I'm Ferris Manus, bitch. Okay, what happened to the Necrons and their quest to destroy all life? Matt Ward.
Yes, basically, yes, that happened.
The two words that no one ever wants to hear.
Don't worry, we're not talking about you. Because that's actually his name.
Oh, that's rough.
Yes. Oh, dear.
Okay, excuse me. Why didn't the traitor Primarchs do anything for 10,000 years?
They did.
Yeah. I mean, Angron, the first war for Armageddon comes to mind. Mortarion Mortarion got into a fight with Khaldor Drago.
Perturabo was in the 10th Black Crusade and lost.
Magnus invaded Fenris every other week.
And lost.
So the reason they don't talk about what they've done very much is because it didn't go well for them. That's the thing. They prefer to look like they're doing nothing than to look as though they've lost all the time, so they just keep quiet.
Pretty much,
L. Magnus, double L. Perturabo. I think the 10th Black Crusade... Okay, Perturabo did win the 10th Black Crusade, but he only kind of helped in the background, so details.
I think his Lorgar's done, essentially nothing.
He's
been sat in his temple.
He's come out of his temple now, though, just about.
It was halfway out the door.
I'm out of milk!
Everyone's outside, look, just take that extra step. Just take the one more step out of the building. Come on, you can do it. It's only been 10,000 years.
But what if they laugh at me for my gorilla arms?
He'd better be, roided to hell at this point.
He looks like a gorilla.
He's not 18 stories tall. He's wasted his time. It's just not.
He's a demon. He can... Well, Magnus can be whatever size he wants. I don't know about Lorgar.
Well, again, Lorgar's just, scary monkey man now.
Lasai.
Okay, and the last question. Why hasn't Bjorn turned into a wolf yet?
Luck. Sheer luck.
Yeah.
Total luck.
Okay, that's it for this time. So if we didn't ask your specific question, leave it in the comment section below. For those of you interested, because you have asked about this to let you know so you can actually ask questions specifically for them, our next guest is actually going to Black Library author Robbie McNiven, who you will know for the Kakara novels.
Ooh.
Yes, so that will be...
really cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, and I actually have done more than Kakara, so I want to go have another read at that.
The rebranding of that chapter, by the way, has been a thing to behold.
It's exceptional.
From silly, let's be honest, just really silly space sharks to one of the most badass chapters.
And terrifying.
Absolutely masterful.
Agreed. One thing I wanted to say before we wrap up. I saw a joke on Twitter. Someone was pitching something to Games Workshop. I found this hilarious. I wanted to share it. They should get Chris Peach, who does the painting tutorials with Duncan, to do a program on Warhammer TV. Call it The Thick of It, where he doesn't do thin your paints and all of that. And his tagline should be, where we're going, we don't need roads. Because... and I just saw that. And I was just, yes, that's so bad, but so good. God. And they do it. I know if they see that, they'll do it because it's just brilliant.
I now need to find that tweet so that I can try and get other people to retweet it just so it gets their attention. Beautiful. Everyone should do that. Go and find it. Bring it to them.
It is glorious. But, unless there's anything else?
Nope.
All right, then.
Oh, there is actually one very briefly, sorry. Old issue of White Dwarf has a thing basically saying, meet the games developers. And you've got guys like, Andy Chambers, Gav Thorpe, Graham McNeil, usual guys. And there's a guy, best name ever. Space McQuirk.
Wow.
Best name ever.
That's surely not the actual real name, right?
That is his real name.
Dear
oh my God. I would have been at that baptism. What a day that would have been.
Fantasy does look like a hippie.
Shocking.
And on that bombshell, I think that will be episode 52 of Adeptus Podcastus. Thank you very much to Kirioth for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, and I'm sure the comments, if they liked you, will be clamouring to have you back at some point in the near future. That's what our comments do.
And if they don't, that will also become obvious. So
valid.
Either way.
Valid. So yes, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we hope you can join us next time when Robbie McNiven will be joining us from the Black Library itself. Until then, this has been Tactica Imperialis.
This has been Rescue Theories.
And Kirioth from Kirioth TV.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and goodbye.